As we're gradually moving back to opening schools and businesses and, of course, our in-person interactions, I want to remind you, this is all time with cold and flu season getting going. Staying hydrated is key to helping your body deal with the added stress and with the upcoming flu season. My regular fans have heard me talk about a product called Hydrolite for a long time now. It's an amazing rapid rehydration drink. It's a mix that, well, we're obsessed with here. I'm excited to announce they've just released Hydrolite Plus Immunity, just in time for cold and flu season. Hydrolite Plus Immunity starts with their fast-absorbing electrolytes and adds a host of immune-boosting ingredients. Each single-serve, easy-pour drink mix contains 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C and 300 milligrams of elderberry extract, creates what is hopefully immune-boosting formula that's high in antioxidants and zinc. Combining this with Hydrolite's 7 key electrolytes, it's a fantastic way to stay proactive and properly hydrated. Hydrolite Plus Immunity comes in convenient, easy-to-pour powder sticks that rapidly dissolve in water and make a great tasting drink that has 75% less sugar than your typical sports drink. It uses all natural flavors, and it is gluten-free, dairy-free, caffeine-free, non-GMO, and it is vegan. And you can find Hydrolite Plus by visiting hydrolite.com/Dr.Drew. Again, that's HYDRALYTE.com/DRDRW. And be sure to use our code Dr.Drew25 at checkout for a special discount. The World Health Organization estimates that each year approximately 1 million people take their own life. That's one death every 40 seconds. Experts predicted numbers would peak in 2020, but no one could have imagined the devastation brought on by COVID-19. During the coronavirus pandemic, you may experience anxiety, sadness, and loneliness. Existing mental health conditions, including severe anxiety and major depression, may worsen. If you're feeling hopeless, contemplating self-harm, or you're concerned about someone else, I'm here to tell you there is hope. A Mission for Michael is dedicated to helping clients achieve complete inner and outer transformation. Mission for Michael is the premier resource for intensive mental health treatment in Southern California. With an astonishing 2-to-1 client-to-staff ratio, each client in their facility receives individual care 24 hours a day, overseen by a team of all doctorate or master's level clinicians. With a focus on evidence-based treatment, along with personalized and compassionate care, they offer mental health treatment that can change lives. If you're suffering from mental illness or you're concerned about a loved one, go to amfmtreatment.com. Again, that's a mission for Michael, amfmtreatment.com, or call 866-581-4401. Again, that is 866-581-4401. By watching that. Seems like we're on though. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate it very much. I'm watching the stream, and I'm welcoming the one and only Kat Timpf. Hi, Kat.
How's it going?
There you are. I can't hear you, unfortunately. Try again.
Oh, no? Can you hear me now?
No, I don't hear you. I don't know if you're being heard anywhere else. I hear myself fine, but I can't hear Kat. And I couldn't hear the commercials either. All at once, they just blanked out on me. Yeah, but I hear myself loud and clear.
It's an alert.
1 second, Kat. Hold on. Seems like we've had this problem before.
You heard Kat a few minutes ago.
I'm glad I can, Joanne, I can give you some company while you cook dinner. They can hear on the stream, so that's good. Everyone hears me. Let's wait till I'll keep dealing with the stream while they try to solve the problem with Kat, so she and I can actually talk to each other. She and I were here. Oh, she's breaking up a little bit. You guys hear her, but I don't. That's interesting. Yes, she's got the classic.
Yes, and I can hear her in the studio as well.
So
it may be the way that Drew, your headphones are plugged in.
I'm thinking about. The course of the virus from right now reminds me of the fog of war, of the earlier sorts of experiences we had with this thing, when things really popped up. But they're popping up again in areas where they didn't pop up during the summer, which for the most part, that's true. Or it's going well beyond the levels it was in the summer for some states that were relatively low simmer. And I'm wondering if the places that had a break are going to have another big outbreak or not. I also feel like the consequences of this may be less problematic than they were last time around. For instance, when I look at the California data, the summer surge, let's call it, summer outbreak, had about 8,500 hospitalizations, went up to 200 deaths per day. But now hospitalizations are staying down and the death rate is staying down as well. I don't hear Kat.
She's not talking.
Hey, Kat, try talking.
What?
No, I don't hear Kat.
You can't hear me,
Kat's never not talking. What are you talking about?
I know. I'm talking.
So we're going to go to
a wide shot, and then she's going to log out, and she's going to log back in.
Okay, got it.
No. Kat,
congratulations,
don't do
Ian
that.
Dawson. That's very, very cool.
Kat, don't do that.
Kat, you need to log out, come back in again, and they're just going to go to a wide shot of me, and we'll clip you out for a second, and then we'll bring you back in a second.
Producers
Yeah,
saying,
so
Kat,
Denver's
you don't
planning
need to
on
do
shutting
that.
down again.
They can't hear me.
Here's the thing.
Hold up.
Yes, and I know there's a Chinese virologist saying it's a bioweapon, and there are qualities of this virus that make it suggest that it is a bioweapon, but let's not, why do we spin our wheels speculating about something before there's really hard evidence about stuff? This is, again, this is the grim, predictions of all that kind of stuff. Mark, we kind of are. Surge is up, death rate is down, less than 1,000 a day, Kelly Gallagher reminds us. Yeah, but I'm expecting to see an increase in the death rate, right? And it's still, look, we're tossing around numbers like we're talking about billiard balls or something. I hear myself perfect.
I know, Drew. Can we just try to troubleshoot this and make sure?
Okay, hold on a second.
Okay.
Test 1 2 1 2. Same. So we to talk about, let's be clear that when we talk about 800 deaths versus 1,000 deaths a day, that's lots of people, right? And we toss it around like we're just talking about ping pong balls or something. So let's admit that we're just talking about numbers. We're not talking about the human reality right now. We're just we get that it's a devastating thing when people have the really severe consequence of this thing, but we're trying to understand what the reaction should be, what we should be doing about it without causing more problems. The mental health data is getting bad. It's going to get worse. If we don't, the thing is Kat there yet? Kat, are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Talk?
Can you hear me?
No.
Yeah.
Don't have her. This used to happen. You had a switch on that board that would turn the guest on. Remember on your Roadcaster, there was some switch you would always throw and it would make them come back in. But we're not home right now, so we can't really do that.
Okay, wait.
Okay.
Hello? Yeah, we were working fine before. Okay, let's do this. Let's unplug this and just use the computer.
Okay, we're just going to use the computer sound?
Instead of the Yeti?
Okay. I'm not on that computer. We're on that computer.
Would it be audio out? Hello?
Technical problems, you guys. It's not at this end, I promise you, because I was hearing everything fine, and then all of a sudden I wasn't.
Here, let's change the earbuds. Try those earbuds.
You guys, I'm hearing my voice through the mic perfectly.
I know, we can hear her, but we can't.
You're stressed out, Robert? Tell me why. Yes, Ace would be going apoplectic, but he would make a bid out of it too. So let's hear.
Okay, let's try that one.
See, these are impossible. I have to use them both because. Again, I hear myself perfectly and nothing else.
Well, Katzen.
Yeah.
He said you won't be able to hear it yet. Hello.
Yeah, I don't need.
Caleb hears her. You hear her.
I don't hear her, and other people don't hear her either. The rest of the world doesn't hear her.
I do.
I understand. Click right audio on Mac. See where the output is coming from.
I'm looking at it.
Susan's looking at that right now. Should be on the Yeti. It's not on there. Okay. No, it's not working. Sure, the mute's not on the output? No. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Oh, you can hear it, Jody.
You're right, Drew.
The mute is on?
It's on mute again.
Okay, it's done that before. I still don't hear anything.
Okay.
Hello?
Oh,
Hello?
there you are.
Okay.
How
Hear
about
me?
that?
Okay, for some reason this Mac switches over to mute.
All right,
Oh, that's
it.
great.
Let's move forward. Let's pretend it
Teen
didn't
Mom.
happen. I know, long. Oh, hey, Kat, what's on?
What's up?
How
I'm
are
just
you?
really excited. It's Teen Mom, Teen Mom Tuesday. So it was always really exciting for me. Although I do have some
And what are
bad
you looking
news.
forward to?
Well, I hear Kayla has a
tell me.
meltdown about her and Chris breaking up, but I do have some bad news for you. I remember I told you that I told you that I saw on Javi's Instagram that he was doing a prayer group at 6 a.m. last week.
Yes, and
And I
you
told you in
demanded that I
advance-
join you there. You
I
demanded me to be
demanded that
there,
you
and you
join the
said you
prayer
were going to
group.
be there.
Yeah, well, I demanded that you join the prayer group, and then you said no, you're busy,
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah. So I decided the next best thing was to print out a large picture of your face, tape it to my face, and
Yep.
attend the prayer group myself.
Yep.
I checked for the link. I checked the next morning for the Zoom link. There was no link. So Javi said he was having a prayer group. He said anyone could join. I even slid into his DMs asking for the link myself. No reply. I feel bamboozled by Javi. So now I know how Lauren feels on a smaller scale.
So now all of Javi's religious sort of, what should we call it? Hyper-religiosity, we know is sort of a smokescreen for something?
Seems to be that way.
Seems to be.
Ever since he
I don't
said
know if I'm
he
going to
got
be talking
busted
to
and
him.
he wanted to bang Kale in a Wawa parking lot, Lauren's allegedly out of town. I know this from my Reddit research. She's allegedly out of town, not talking to him. So then he threw up on his Instagram that he was having a prayer group. I thought, I got to infiltrate the prayer group, which you can judge my own religiosity based on the fact that I said infiltrate a prayer group. But that was my plan.
Yeah, I know it was your plan because you hammered me with it for about 2 hours on Wednesday night.
I did. I wanted you to attend. He'd be like, oh no, it's Dr. Drew.
We're going to ruin the prayer group. But instead it was you, and there was no prayer group. So there you go. So the reason Kat is so excited, I am on quarantine right now in preparation for a Teen Mom 2 reunion on Thursday. I've had to stay completely away from everybody, getting COVID tests every other day, which have been repeatedly negative. And we're almost there, almost to the reunion. Is there anything particular, Kat, you want me to get into with this group?
I'm upset because that is my birthday. And I've gone to every Teen Mom reunion since I met you because I have made it so.
Well, that's the reason you met me. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. That's the reason you met me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, I was also a Loveline fan, also, so it goes, my, Dr. Drew fanness goes back a while. But the fact that you know the Teen Moms, that's pretty impressive. I wanted Kale to sing me happy birthday.
Oh, maybe I can get that. Maybe I can get Kale to sing happy birthday to you. Or maybe Randy. Maybe Randy will be there. Well, I don't think anyone's going to be anywhere. I think it's all going to be done by Zoom and Skype anyway. It's just me and Nessa sitting on a set. I don't know how they're going to do it. I really don't know. Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, I don't know. You got to make sure to ask Javi, what's the deal, man?
What's up?
What is
as your fiance put it, he seems to be a sex addict.
Yeah. I mean, like, trying to bang someone in a Wawa parking lot, you're going to have to come up with a better thing than a fake prayer group to get you out of that one, especially after you were already caught banging a girl from the gym while your baby mama / fiance is upstairs. By the way, how does not everybody watch this show? Like, there's a lot lower levels of drama now that, like, they all have money, but, like, still not bad.
Yeah, and I guess one of my stream regulars asking about Chelsea and her COVID anxiety. I think she got over it, didn't she?
She seems to be. The latest storylines are more Adam focused, right?
Yeah.
He seems
to Adam and his family.
Adam seems to still be a loser. So, yeah. So there's that. I just want more Javi. I just want to know more about Javi. And where was the prayer group, Javi? I was ready to lead you in prayer to help you keep your pants in the Wawa parking lot.
What's a Wawa, by the way?
It's like a Pennsylvania thing. It's like a gas station / snack mart. They were doing a drop-off, and he requested sex from Kale, and then she put him on blast on camera. Lauren saw it. Lauren went back to Massachusetts. Javi scrambling, tries to say a prayer group. I was there to pray with him, okay? I was there to help him deal with his urges. He gets in the Wawa parking lot. but he never sent me the link.
Yeah, I think that was a smokescreen. I think that was just him. Oh, there's Wawa in Florida too, I'm hearing. So congratulations. Now, what is this? I know Tom Cigar is saying there's a great tattoo of Johnny Knoxville. Do you have? Is he looking at something on you, Kat? No, I don't know if you're having a Johnny Knoxville. No.
I don't have any tattoos. I
So,
do love
hey,
Johnny Knoxville.
You're getting a lot. Both you and Susan are getting a lot of kudos for how you guys look today. Everyone thinks you guys look great. So, yeah. So now Susan's gonna come on in.
You can see under the hat, though. Under the hat, it's not nice.
They're gonna. So, Knoxville has a Wawa tattoo on his arm. That's what the stream is telling me. So there you go. And thank you, Lily. I did a friend. I did a H3 podcast today, Frenemies. I urge people to listen to it. We intervened on Trisha and Ethan. It was quite interesting, really quite interesting. Do you listen to that podcast?
I haven't. You intervene on people?
I intervene on people, yeah. If they ask me to, I will do it.
Hobby.
I know. That's sort of what the whole Teen Mom, the conceit of the Teen Mom reunions.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm
so listen,
disappointed about the prayer group. I printed out your face and everything. I had it next to my bed. I was ready to go.
I know you were armed. So I'm not sorry that didn't happen, I must tell you, but it's given me something to talk to him about. That's for sure. So here's something that I've been ruminating about lately, and you were the person I wanted to talk to about this. Sure. I feel like many of the states of this union have intervened in COVID in such a way as to take away our agency, as though that is their intended goal. I don't know if it is or not, but it feels like it is. And it gravely concerns me. I've been talking about it a lot lately because I'm seeing the effects of hopelessness and powerlessness wherever I go, at least particularly in California, where it's off the chain. It's really bad in California. And the government, rather than being supportive and giving messages, like in New York, you're kind of getting supportive message. I know it feels a little harsh here, but the messages are supportive from your government instead of being threatening, which is what they are from the California government. They're the opposite of how to enhance health behaviors. Am I on to anything here? Have you had concerns about that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, right? And that's why I've said this before. Yeah. I get really pissed off by the phrase, like, just stay home, because throwing that just
it's not even, listen, wait, it's not even just stay home. It's shelter in place. Yeah, shelter in place. Yeah. Your life is in imminent danger, you pussy. Get in there. Hey, get a hide under a table. It's like, well, we'll do that if really there's like a nuclear missile heading our direction. And when it doesn't hit, we should be coming out and figuring out how to navigate the world we're in. Instead, they keep telling us to get back onto the table. That is so bad for mental health. It's so bad.
It is. I think that there's really not a lot of acknowledgement. Like you're somehow like some sort of COVID truther or like whatever. If you acknowledge that the mental health aspect of it is really serious. I mean, for me, like I'm still working. I got engaged in the pandemic. Like I'm one of the lucky ones by far, but I have found it so difficult mental health wise just to be in quarantine. Like even like when I was in therapy before, like I learned like a lot of the coping mechanisms that I developed. Like I went to go see live music all the time. I started performing stand-up comedy again, started traveling more. All those things are illegal. So I'm back in therapy trying to figure out like what do I do now? Because between like I always had issues with anxiety, depression, as well as ADHD, and it's been exacerbated so much by the lockdown and the quarantine and not being able to do all the things that I had been using as coping mechanisms.
I'm watching the restream while I talk to you, and I want to congratulate Lauren Taylor Hill. She was in the phase 3 trial of the Moderna vaccine and found out she now has COVID antibodies. And guess what? She didn't get transverse myelitis. She didn't die of the vaccine. She's now immune to the virus. I want that vaccine. I want it now. I want it now.
Yeah, I know.
That's how to restore agency, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I get your point too. It's like even in Michigan when they were like, okay, well, no gardening supplies, can't get gardening supplies. It's like nobody like has a gardening party. That's like as solo as an activity gets. You know?
Right. That's the part, of course, when a bureaucracy responds to something, there's lots of arbitrariness to what they're doing. And then it seems nonsensical, then it seems irrational, and then you're frustrated, then you're wondering why you're listening to them and what it is you should be listening to and where is reality. It's very confusing for people, and it's very disturbing to them. I don't understand why people can't get, people meaning government officials, the full impact of what they're doing to the population. It's the opposite. It's to me, I keep saying it's the opposite of health messaging. I talked to the governor of North Dakota yesterday, and he was telling me that how difficult it is to maintain encouraging messaging, not lockdown messaging. That he's being sort of crucified for trying to do it in a positive way rather than a stealing, usurping agency sort of way. Does that make sense?
Right.
Am I making sense? I mean, you're the libertarian. That's why I thought I would. Yeah.
It makes total sense because so much of this attitude is that it's like, you have nothing to complain about. It's not that hard, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's really hard. Like, I'm so extroverted to the point where like it's probably some sort of clinical disorder. So like this has been a really hard time for me. I like to just go out and and do stuff and be around people, and I get energized that way.
Right.
So like at the beginning I just wasn't getting energized. I was just laying on the couch playing Candy Crush, and I was like, I don't even like this game. This game's not even fun. But I just couldn't get myself to do anything because I'm like, for what? For why? And I'm still struggling with some of that, especially because there's really no end in sight, right? Like in New York City still. Yeah. There's not like, there's no, I mean, like other than outdoor dining, indoor dining is like 25% capacity. So it's like, you got to make a reservation so far in advance, and then you get 90 minutes at the restaurant, and then you go home and you resume the crying that you'd been doing like every other minute,
right,
besides those 90 minutes.
Right. So, and by the way, did you hear the Kanye interview on Rogan?
I didn't. I was going to listen to it though.
You are going to?
Yeah, I want to.
Okay, then you and I will talk about it because a lot of really interesting stuff came into that. But I want your libertarian brain engaged here and help me understand, because I have libertarian sympathies. I think freedom is a higher value than risk to our health, if that makes sense. I'm a doctor and I'm saying that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's more important. I'm saying it's a higher value, okay? And we have taken freedom and trashed it in the name of, I'm not sure what we're doing, because originally we were trying to flatten the curve to prevent overwhelming the healthcare system. Yeah, now we seem to have decided we're going to try to minimize hospitalizations and deaths, which, okay, but at what cost? At what cost to the overall health and well-being? And I consider freedom,
I'm all about like saving lives. I think saving lives is great. But like if your idea for save lives makes everyone who is alive want to kill themselves, that is something that you need to look at. Like all the joy has been sucked out of life. And I remember they told everybody 2 weeks to flatten the curve. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Don't want to open.
It was 8 months ago.
A very fucking long 2 weeks, if you ask me. I mean, like, it's like Thanksgiving's coming up, and we still have no end in sight here whatsoever. I just don't know how to live like this.
And why is it to be a COVID denier? I'm not a COVID denier. I'm concerned about the upsurges. I'm wearing my mask. I'm not a denier. What I denounce is panic. I denounce it. And so I'm not denying COVID. I'm denouncing panic. And I'm urging agency and finding ways to navigate with managed risk without completely throwing away the values of liberty and freedom. Is that so crazy a point of view?
No, even as a doctor also, and we've talked about this, I mean, as you know, why is nobody talking about the very real health risks of prolonged loneliness and no social interaction?
Correct. And I'm seeing it. Listen to this. Just look at this one piece of data. I brought it up on this stream multiple times. On the streets of San Francisco, the death rate in San Francisco right now, 4 times higher from overdose death versus COVID deaths. 4 times the overdose deaths. And not only is the city not mobilizing and shutting down in response to these massive numbers of deaths from overdose, they're not reacting. They're shutting down for COVID. 1 versus 4. 400, 100. Are we concerned with life and death? Or are we just concerned with COVID? And if it's just COVID, what happened to us?
Right.
What happened?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's
I'm
like,
just trying to understand it.
It's going to keep getting worse too, because, people are going to be forced into poverty basically because their businesses are going to have to close down. And then that obviously puts you more at the risk for things like addiction. And there's people who are afraid to go to no one's getting diagnosed with cancer anymore. Not because cancer went away. It's because people are going to get checked out for things. I mean, there's so many, this is all real stuff. And there's so many other studies besides even just that one that you mentioned saying the same thing, but we can't talk about that because it's not COVID.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to, I always try to understand other points of view, right? So I want to know somebody who is somehow triggered or feels badly or feels that we're off the mark with this conversation. What would that view be? Would it just be that we're misreading how serious the virus is? I don't know. The numbers are the numbers. Is it that we're misreading the risk of the virus, that it could get so much worse that this conversation is completely foolish, for lack of a better word? Do you think that's what the other alternative point of view would be?
I guess, but I think that's such a cop-out, and that's like denying reality, because I don't want COVID. I got a grandma and a grandpa. I don't want them to die. Like, but it's like you can have, it's not mutually exclusive, because like there are real medical, like life and death impacts of the fact that we've been locked down in many places since March.
Yeah, making poor people poorer has profound medical consequences, just that. Yep. And then the other thing that troubles me, and this is something I want to challenge everybody to do. So the real goal, immediately it's, you're trying to kill my grandma. Okay,
right.
So I'd like everybody to go talk to grandma and grandpa. Go talk to them and ask what they would like and do what they would like. If they want to be isolated and cut off and not exposed in any way, please do that, please, if that's what they want. But I think what you will find, I talk to lots of old people, and what they tell me is, I may have 3 or 4 years left. I don't want to cash half of that in for a 10% risk of some disease I probably won't get. I'm not going to cash that in. You need to talk to them about it. And if that's how they want to live their life, again, back to agency and liberty and freedoms, if I were 85 years old, I would categorically be that person. I would absolutely be the person going, fuck it, I want to see my grandkids. I'll take the rest.
I don't think I'll ever make it to 85. But if I do, I'd be like, I can have a few more years sitting in a room by myself, or like I can chance it and actually have a life and maybe die. I mean, like, I just, it's gotten so politicized too, where it's like you can't even have these conversations.
Well, I'm trying because you're a straight up libertarian. I'm kind of a medium, middle, mild libertarian kind of person. That's why I wanted to have the conversation with you, because you don't care about either side, do you? Do you care? I don't care.
No.
I care about.
There's also a lot of things to be said for the fact that the reason that this got so out of control, or one of the reasons it got so out of control, was there was a lack in testing, and part of the reason at the beginning, and part of the reason there was a lack in testing, is because there's all these government regulations that wouldn't allow states to do it. It had to be the federal government doing it, and so on and so forth. And even there was a woman in Washington, in Seattle area, who came up with a test. I'm getting constant robocalls to vote, and I've already voted. Like, leave me alone. Good. It's not going to be for either of your guys, so chill.
Winning for Kanye?
I'm Joe Jorgensen, obviously. I always vote the same way every year. I vote libertarian down the ballot. When there's no libertarian, I write in my cat's name.
I got to remember your cat and your dog. Can we take a good look at him, by the way, while we're at it?
Cheens is my cat, and Carl's my dog. Where's Carl's in there with Cam right now?
Carl's got a hoodie on. I wanted to see that.
Carl, come here.
let me get some restream comments here. Here's to both of us. You are celebrities who want to continue your celebrity lifestyle. Of course you hate inconvenience. One thing about you and me, Kat, we just maintain that celebrity lifestyle, don't we? Both of us.
I've never been to Bali, so.
I think we've been to Mexican food together, right? That must be what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, look at that. Look at Carl.
Got a little hoodie on. Say hi, Carl.
Hi, Carl.
You're on a live. He's eating my finger. He's not the smartest.
Oh my God, he is so funny.
Hi, Carl. Say hi. Say hi. Hi. He's doing his best.
Thank you. He's good. I love him. I love him. He's snorting.
He is. He's always snorting. This celebrity lifestyle. I love that. I
know, right?
You mean, yeah, when I used to go to a dive bar once a week.
I've seen, like I've said repeatedly, I've seen you at karaoke.
Yeah.
I guess that's what they're talking about. It's like, all right, let me see what else is going on in the restream here. But I'm looking to you, Kat, to help me today. In the sense that here's what I'm ruminating about. And I don't want to say it in harsh ways, but what happened to this country? I mean, what happened to our ability to, again, have agency? I keep using that word, but to be citizens, to be participants, to be active, to want to get up and fight something like this. What happened to us?
Yeah, I mean, look, it got turned into like a political weapon where if you have any problem with just riding away in like your own house or whatever apartment, then you're somehow like this denier, you're an asshole, or you killed my grandma. And it's like a lot of the rhetoric we've been seeing for a while. It's like the same thing as like the PC culture where you can call someone a racist or a sexist and their career is over. It's like just a new thing added on. And I'm not saying that this obviously isn't serious. A lot of people have died. I don't want to minimize that at all, and I'm not minimizing that, but you're at the point where to be like, hey, this sucks, this isn't life, and these are the impacts of that's somehow seen as mutually exclusive is insane, and it's also like stupid. It's a complete logical fallacy. It's just dumb.
Right. I was thinking about, I was watching 90 Day Fiance, which is my teen mom.
I'm out of a carton right now. Hey there, D1 athlete. Hey there, D1.
So, hey, he can do stuff like that being a D1 athlete. You're just jealous. So am I, by the way. But so here's the thing. I was watching 90 Day Fiance, and they were talking about a measles outbreak in Samoa that was killing thousands of children. And the same day, I watched one of Susan's favorite stories, and they were one of favorite shows, and they were talking about this guy at the turn of the century that had 7 children, 6 of which died by the time they were 30, all of infection. And I thought it was the Holzer files, which Susan's going to have the cast on in a couple hours.
Yes,
a couple hours.
Calling out
Susan
with the
Bitsky.
Holzer files.
Okay, you guys heard all that, but she was studying up, and I was watching that, and I thought, yeah, throughout this is what happened to people is if you had a measles outbreak, thousands of children died. If you got an infection, bacterial infection of any type, you died for the most part. Certainly, if it was in your lungs. It was in your bladder, too. If you got a urine infection, you died. You got a kidney infection. And I'm not minimizing the extraordinary ability we have to protect life. That's the amazing, we should celebrate every second. But at the same time, if this was a disease that killed thousands of children, I'd be in place. I would want to hide in the room because I would not want any children dying because I walked around. But this isn't that. It's serious. It can be minimized. It can be mitigated. We can flatten the curves. And we have great care, and the death rate is down, and we have therapeutics, and we're going to have a vaccine very, very soon. Why doesn't that motivate us to kind of, again, fight, to move forward, not heedlessly, but to do it responsibly?
I think that it should. But it doesn't, because I think it's a lot of like the social pressure and like people just being like, oh, well, then you killed my grandma and it's just that simple and you got to stay home. I mean, and again, the whole like the just stay home idea pisses me off because for some people you're saying, hey, just give up your business. Just give up this thing that you have sacrificed your whole life for and, you know, worked your whole life for. Just give that up and live in the street. Like, I don't, just, we have to be able to talk about, I mean, this isn't like 2 weeks of lockdown. This isn't a month of lockdown. I mean, this started in March and I still can't go anywhere or do anything. And it's taking a toll on me. And again, I'm still working. I'm one of the lucky ones. I cannot imagine where I would be if I was someone who wasn't that lucky.
You know what? Somebody just tweeted, put something on the thread here that really triggered my mind a little bit. And I think he's right. I think in this country,
Which one?
I don't know, just death is not allowed anymore or something. This is, it's a Twitch. It's from, I'm lighting it up on mine. Here, agreed. People die. Why is that not allowed anymore? And that's I think some of what's this. People aren't allowed to die. Like if somebody dies, that's somebody else's problem, not a function of being biological and the fact that if you don't want to die, you don't want to live. And so it's, in a way, this is a denial of death on a large scale. He might be onto something there. It's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Well, yeah, nobody talks about death. I mean, that's why I try to talk about it as much as possible, you know.
Is that literally why you have that obsession? Wait. I want to understand this. Is that why you have the obsession with it? Is it a kind of quasi-socio-political statement, or you just have an obsession with it?
I think it's both, because after my mom died, it was like super uncomfortable. Like, I mean, obviously I was devastated, but it was also uncomfortable because people would be like, you know, I lost her, like, I was 26 when she died. So people would be like, oh, what are you doing for Mother's Day? Like stuff like that. And I'd just be like, she's dead. And then they would get all awkward about it. And I'd be like, I used to feel bad. Then I just started saying, it's okay. You didn't kill her. Like you know, I already knew she was dead before this conversation. It happened a while ago. But like, I would feel so uncomfortable by even bringing up the fact that I knew a dead, like someone who died. And like, it shouldn't be that way. I think that it's so stigmatized and like, we don't talk about it in a real way.
You're right.
Like,
so we need to, you're right. I think we need to come up with an active plan here. Seriously. People are putting in the thread about the Stoics' feelings about this. I agree. The Stoics on death is a great way to sort of frame this thing. But we need to be constantly talking about this humbly, I would say. You know, I think that's an important thing, you and I.
I do. And people, they kind of romanticize it too. Like even in movies when someone dies, like look at like Titanic, right? Like that would not have happened that way. He would have like shit himself in the water and like not been able to talk or whatever. Like, you know, like because there's this pressure, you're gonna have these beautiful end of life conversations. I thought I was like doing my mom's death wrong because all she said was like, I'm tired and I want ice chips. But of course that's all she said because she was about to die. But like we don't talk about that.
So let's talk a little bit about you. If you get a terminal illness, what do you want to do with it?
If I get a terminal illness, I want to just try to like live my life as much as possible. And again, not have people tiptoe around it. I'll probably make fun of my terminal illness a lot.
If it's cancer, would you cling to every day? Would you want to squeeze every day out of it, or get as much as you can, as quick as you can, and then come what may, kind of thing?
Yeah, I would like tell all my secrets, and like just go nuts. I would be having meltdowns on social media.
Let's pretend you have a terminal illness. Let's pretend you have a terminal illness and see where this goes.
You won't fool me.
So, and what if you become weak or disoriented, and let's say you've got 2 months to go. Do you want to be in a nursing home? Would you rather be at home?
No.
And again, come what may. Yeah, no nursing homes, right?
I do not. Right. I do not want to be in a nursing home.
And let's say COVID is swirling around. Do you want everyone to leave you alone so you don't get COVID and you preserve those last 2 months?
Of 2 months of doing what?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So I think I think people have got to, I said this early in the pandemic, that it's an important opportunity to talk about death and dying and what people's wishes are. So both you and I are saying no extreme measures, no nursing homes. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I would want to do like meth and heroin. If I was going to die anyway.
Yeah, sure. I think you'd do better with LSD. That would help. That would actually be the LSD might be actually therapeutic for you. but the heroin might be fun.
I would be saying no to nothing.
So given, Kat, we're going to a strange hole here. So given that so listen, because it occurs to me that given that our avoidance of death as a culture and our abject fear of even talking about it and our stigmatization of it, doesn't it suggest that something like a spiritual something or religious something or whatever it is to a given individual would help with this?
I think so. That's why I do wish I had a religion, but I don't. And I think when I did, I was probably happier. But I think that's definitely part of it. I'm sure it must be, but I definitely feel that that's missing in my life, but I just like can't make myself buy it, I guess.
Do you think it feels like the last 10 years, I started saying about 2 years ago, I think we're due for another Great Awakening. Little did I know that the Great Awakening would be politics supplanting religion. Do you think that's what's happening, or are we maybe going to have another Great Awakening?
I think it's what's happening. I think it's like it could be like the wokeness thing or like the politics, right? Because people take the politics stuff so seriously. Like, I'm voting for Biden. I don't understand how anyone couldn't, or vice versa on the other side too. And it's just it's
like talking. It feels like talking to somebody about a religious belief, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really, really does. And it's it doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
Yeah. And so, somebody just commented up here, oh gosh, cat on meth.
I know, if I had more energy, my heart would probably explode. I think I should never smoke real drugs based on how addicted I am to nicotine. So, but if I'm dying,
why have at it?
Why
have
fun,
at it? It makes you feel good.
It out.
So on one of my other podcasts, the Dr.Drew After Dark, we have this thing called the rational revolution. We want to have a revolution in rationality where sort of all the BS gets swept aside and people start to reason towards the truth. I worry that may not be enough. I mean, I hope it will get us out of some of the mess where we're doing things automatically without thinking about it. And this is where we started this conversation, right? That we're automatically giving up our agency without going, is that really? We want to have no liberty, no freedom, give up our agency, and that's okay? Versus, let's reason about this, let's think about it, let's navigate, let's think of best practices. But that does not take away the fear of death, right? The fear of the abject fear of death that we see in this country. Is there a way we can celebrate life and death at the same time?
I think just acknowledging death has to be the first step, because we don't even acknowledge it at all. We don't at all. And like, I am afraid of death, but that doesn't mean I don't talk about it whenever I can. Because if you talk about it, and using humor, especially like joking about it helps so much. And like, I would make jokes about like my mom dying because she did the same thing as she was dying. And I kind of was like, oh, wow, you can do that? And like, I started doing that, and people would actually give me shit about it. Like, hi.
Well, there's actually something, I think there's actually something rather deep embedded in what you just said there, which is that when humans are faced with bad circumstances, humor is one of the ways they cope. And we have canceled humor in this country. We need to regain humor too. We do.
Yeah, I think that there's nothing that you can't joke about. I think you can joke about anything. And I think the things that are the darkest and the scariest are the things that where you need that healing power of humor the most. So that's why I know I do personally throughout my own life. It's helped me. And I know a lot of other people are like that too. And it's like, oh, it's the point where it's like, if I make a joke about my own trauma, people are going to try to cancel me because I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And like, how is that compassion? It's the opposite of compassion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we need to restore comedy. And I think maybe you need to have another funeral. And we need to make a big deal of it.
I know. That was the best night of my life, was my funeral. Because since I was little, I was like, it really sucks to like, when you have your funeral, that like you don't get to like be there. And so I decided very young I was going to throw my own funeral for myself while I was still alive, and I did it.
Yeah, but who says you have to do it once?
That's true.
Let's make this kind of maybe even an annual thing. Why not?
Jerry still has my casket that he built for me in his garage. Doesn't fit in the
Who has
apartment.
that?
So
Who has it?
Jerry from the Misfits. He built me the casket. I drove in his hearse in the back like this. And the casket's still at his machine shop. So I can get that casket back whenever I want.
I'm telling you, I see we'll get out to the shed here with this. The shed here is not like a shed. It's like a giant expression space or performance space. What are you looking at me? Did I do something wrong?
No.
Are we okay? Are we on track?
Yeah, you guys are killing it.
Okay. She looked at me like, and then,
I just want everybody to see the view behind you.
oh,
It's
she wants, oh, do you ever,
I
can you,
see the Statue of Liberty.
they can't see it because I'm on a little window.
I know, but I told Caleb to show
At the
It's
end,
so
okay.
amazing.
So, Kat, hold on a second. Susan is very anxious that people should see what's behind me.
I know,
So
it's just
there we
beautiful.
are. There we are.
Look at, you can see the Statue of Liberty pointing.
It is.
kinda
Let me see if I can. Yeah, Susan.
Right. Wait, my hand. Okay, this. No.
It's really weird trying to point it out. It's right. Oh. It's because of the delay. It screws us up. Here it comes. It's right there. When we're past it.
Yeah, it's right in
There. It's in there.
Statue of Liberty.
Anyway, you can't really see it. So,
Isn't that pretty?
but Susan loves that view, and I do too.
This is my beautiful home that I haven't been in for 9 months.
Yeah. So here we are again. So, Kat, I sit around and think about this stuff all the time, and someone. And by the way, we need to pull out some locals questions that were.
I don't think there were any. I
Okay.
asked on the stream if any.
Well, there was one long. I'll tell you one long locals comment, which I actually because it was long, but it was thoughtful from Donna Moore. And one of the things she said, and Kat, help me with this, because there's certain places where it's a record scratch thing for me. When people say things like, she was making a comment about Disneyland, saying Disneyland doesn't care. You know, I made a comment, and to be fair to her point, that my comment was aggressive and unthoughtful. I said, Disneyland should, because Disneyland wasn't allowed to open and the state wouldn't even have a conversation with them. I said they should move to Texas, see how they like that. In the meantime, 100,000 jobs have been lost in and around Disneyland. And it's upsetting me. It's upsetting me that 100,000 people's lives have been turned upside down, and the state will not talk to the organization that could restore even 25% of those jobs, if not 50%. And that's, to me, is heartless.
Especially if like your job specialty is dressing up like a princess. Where's that going to translate? You can't go get a job as an accountant.
Well, and a lot of it is restaurant service and, the service industry around Disneyland, the restaurants and hotels and things like that. But then this Donna Moore said to me, she goes, well, Disneyland doesn't care. They're just interested in making money. I thought, businesses, this is an interesting spot where I have trouble like understanding other people's point of view. Businesses don't care or not care. They're nothing. They're just business. They're just money-making operations. But in the course of doing that successfully, they're engines for jobs. They help.
Right. That's
where jobs come from, is businesses. I don't care. The businesses can be rapacious and irresponsible. I get it. So can people. And I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about businesses in general. They are engines for jobs. And I don't understand why people look at that negatively. Am I off base on that? Am I missing something? I'm going to see what the thread says while you answer.
Like the super progressive argument where if you really listen to it, like almost what they're saying is like, I will not rest until every business has $0. Like what? So, like, I don't want to stand in the bread line, like I don't want to do that.
Well, the only other source of jobs is the government. So if what you're saying is that everybody needs to be a government employee, that's disgusting. No one is worse at creating dynamism and good jobs than the government.
Yeah. And no one's better at wasting money than the government.
Okay, so Flora May says big businesses are the man. They are the man, but they are the man that builds the jobs. And the problem, I think the reason there's negative feelings about it right now is that some of the people that sit at the highest levels, the highest echelons of power or not power, management and on the boards in those companies make a disproportionate amount of money, and that makes people feel bad. I get that. But if they're creating, part of what they are being paid for is making millions of jobs, I don't care. Create the jobs and make the jobs good, and help as many people as you possibly can. If you also make a bunch of money by doing that, fine, good. Hope it make more jobs. But it is the sort of excesses that bother people, I think. Don't you agree?
Yeah, as a former California Pizza Kitchen and Ruby Tuesday and Boston Market employee, I certainly do agree.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad that I was able to have those jobs because I was able to learn skills through unpaid internships while making just enough money to live in squalor, and then eventually kind of work my way up.
First you worked your way. Hang on, you worked your way into your car first, and then you worked your way up, right?
I got a car. Yeah, I got a car. First, I was just.
No, I think you were living in your car
for.
Didn't you live in your car for a minute?
I lived with I did not have a home, so I was living on different couches, and then I eventually shacked up with this Colombian family in Long Beach. My Spanish was great.
And that's when you joined the cartel? Was right then?
No. I probably was part of it without knowing. Because my Spanish wasn't that great. But yeah, look, we don't even have capitalism right now. We have like crony capitalism because the government, they make all their decisions with like different lobbyists and special interests and blah, 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 war machine, blah, blah, blah. There's nobody looking out for you but you.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? I was thinking about Manafort. Was that his name? The guy that lobbyist that was put in jail. Manafort, right? Mm-hmm. I thought after the Manafort fiasco, I thought that would be the death knell of lobbyists. I thought everyone would look at that and go, "That's what they do. That's how horrible the lobby system is in Washington." And it goes on. It goes on. I thought that was sort of surprising.
Yeah, because it's so ingrained in the system. Like people, believe it or not, a lot of politicians don't get into it because they want to humbly and selflessly serve the people, right? They get advantages that come with power, and so they make decisions according to how they can stay in power and keep having those advantages, which is why we should just cancel government and give everyone an Uzi.
Kat, keep going. I don't want you to leave it right there. What do you mean?
I'm just kidding. Only because I don't think I could carry an Uzi.
Oh, that's why.
Too heavy.
All right. So, which I'm going to be deep in a couple of days. Anything you haven't told me yet, or you have a wish list other than Javi, which I will get into the prayer group with him if I get a chance to talk to him. What else you got for me?
Talk to Javi about the prayer group. You got to know. I want to just know everything about Javi, like everything there is to know.
So you're not. So nobody else. Nothing on Jade. Nothing on Brianna. Nothing for anybody else.
Yeah, Brianna. Why does Brianna get a new house for her and her family? Why?
Because her family is super enmeshed. That's called enmeshment. One for all and all for one. Nobody gets to be separate. You can still do
that on FaceTime. I talk to my sister every day.
Yeah, you're not enmeshed.
Right. Emotionally, I'd say I am enmeshed, but that's a whole other.
You have some enmeshment stuff, but you're able to not make certain things your problem. I mean, some of the enmeshment is how you got in those codependent relationships you used to go for, right?
Yeah.
Because of my old faith. Yeah, and that was a codependent, boundaryless thing that, enmeshment is one of the ways you get there. But you've had a bunch of therapy since then, right?
Yes, like a lot.
And so you don't get so enmeshed.
Yeah, now I'm in like a healthy relationship, and I'm like, wow, this is what it's supposed to be like. Wow.
Shocking.
Like if we get like a small fight, it's like we're not like breaking up and I'm being like screamed at. It's like we have like disagreements where we like work things out. It's really nice.
Andrew Ashkazvili, one of my resources here on my thread, says Eli Lilly has paused their vaccine trial, saying it does not show an immune response. So that's the Lilly vaccine. Andrew, I don't think you were on the thread earlier, but one of my followers who's in the phase 3 Moderna has antibodies now and no adverse effect. So maybe the Moderna one's the one we're going to see, and maybe the Lilly one will fail. That's really interesting. So again, for people that say, we've never had a coronavirus vaccine before, yeah, because there are hundreds of coronaviruses out there, and we've never been interested in spending the money to develop a vaccine against a cold virus. And now we're spending billions and billions of dollars, multiple vaccine trials to come up with the one that has the highest likelihood of being effective without adverse event. We're doing it all simultaneously. I think this is a wholly different situation than any vaccine development that's ever been in place ever before that I can see. And certainly we would never spend all this and energy, resources, and money on a cold virus per se. So that's why we haven't done that. And also be world, we've never had an mRNA virus. That is true, mRNA vaccine, but we do have mRNA vaccines used around the world, just never in this country before. So Kat, it's getting a little wonky here looking at what's going on. In other words, I'm looking at let me get the numbers up here. The virus is surging, particularly nationally. And to my eye, most of that surge is in states that have never had a significant rate before. So when I look around the world and I see countries that have managed to suppress the virus kind of eventually comes on. It's like more likely to surge or something. The really big question is, will we surge more significantly above that? Will places like New York and California and Florida, will they see surges? What do you think? What's your bet?
I hope not. Yeah,
I hope not too. At least stop before we get the vaccine.
Never really locked down. I want to go back into locked her down again.
But I don't think, but in the lockdown, if you remember the original lockdown, the shelter in place nonsense, the reason we all cooperated with that is the expectation was massive hospitalization and death. Remember the hospital ships coming in, the Javits Center that's right outside your apartment being set up as a hospital, and we expected that all to be overwhelmed. And it was nothing, it was bad, but it was nothing like that. And so that was a better reason to lock down the way we did. Now it sort of doesn't, there should be an intermediate kind of a position, it seems to me. Call me crazy. Let me look at California again, see if we have California numbers in today. A lot of the states that are surging, California had a 2-day surge that apparently was backlog tests, and we're back down where we were. And the death rate continues down, hospitalization rate continues flat to down, so come on. Come on, everybody. Now, the interesting thing about California is, in the name of honesty, let me flip my script on myself and say, if I'm in the public health department in California and you've got some gadfly like me out there in Disneyland, one of the appropriate response would be, hey, look what we've done. Kept it down. We've managed to keep, because we're being so cautious, we have kept this thing flat. That's a viable defense to what I'm saying. What I would respond is, yeah, you have, good job, but I think there's yet another navigation that you could actualize. There's a step forward you could take without cashing in all the progress you've made. Seems to me. Kat, what do you say? And restore people's agency and jobs. No? Kat, are you still there?
I miss activities. I miss people. I miss places. Remember places?
Yes, I remember places.
Go to them? Wow.
Where would we go? Where would we meet tonight if we were going places? We go get Mexican food again?
Yes.
That place was crowded.
Don't tell Mama.
She wants to go to Don't Tell Mama, the singing, the karaoke place. So we'd go to Monster, the gay bar we sing at. Did you go with us there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you went to Monster.
And Uncle Charlie's, the gay dive piano bar.
Well, that's the one you entered up. We do Stonewall and Monster. Stonewall, of course, is the famous. Let me ask you this before we wrap up. Let me ask this. So we have now Amy Coney Barrett being Supreme Court. I've noticed some posts from my gay friends that really upset me, that they are feeling that their liberties are at risk by the Supreme Court reconsidering gay marriage. Is that a real risk? And what should we do about it? You understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, I understand. So my view of this is just, okay, so I think it's, and I got interrupted yesterday when I made this point on TV by somebody who was like, well, you're saying you should pack the court. Like, we live right now in a system where there's so much power that's concentrated among a few individuals in government. And a lot of that power and those decisions should be up to us, the people. So, like, we shouldn't be in a system where that was ever or would ever be something anyone would ever want to worry about. I think, like, I'm engaged, I'm not getting married, but, like, I almost don't even want to get married just because it's like, I don't want the government to be like, oh, now my relationship really is real and serious because the government says it can be. That just, mind your business.
Right. So I've heard you say this before as a libertarian, that you're overall wondering why we are offering so much power to our government. I mean, the fact that they can take away our agency, that they can drive us into our homes, that already your question is, isn't why are they doing that? It's why are we endowing them with the power to do that in the first place?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
And so back to the Supreme Court, let's just talk practically. Should our friends be fearful?
I mean, I think that a lot, even the, conservative people that Trump, put in, like, have been a little bit less so on social things than people might have expected. Like, if you look at that anti-discrimination case just recently. So I understand being concerned, but I don't think so. I think there's been a cultural shift. But again, they should never have had to give permission for gay people to get married in the first place. That's sick and wrong.
So well, it is the only contract we have with the government, right? And so the government sets that contract for us. So we've given them that power. I will be shocked and dismayed if the Supreme Court chooses to hear anything in regard to gay unions, gay marriage. That will be so disturbing.
I will be in the streets if that happens.
All right, you and I. No, here's the deal. We'll get two birds with one stone. I will be wheeling you down the street in a coffin.
Perfect. I have the coffin.
All right.
So.
Oh, we'll get it. And you'll be in your Misfits shirt. So
I got a lot.
All right, so we got to get running here. I'm seeing Susan is like wrapping us up.
Gutfeld, Fox Nation.
Yes, you can find Kat at Fox Nation. Kat, give us all the particulars. Of course, Gutfeld show on Saturday night. Where else?
Saturday nights, 10 p.m. Fox News. Fox Nation, Sincerely Kat. And then I'm on Locals, kat.locals.com. I do a lot of live chats. If you want to like chat with me, it's pretty fun. And then I post stuff
Locals.
That's too.
Hey, I want to do that too. That's what I keep promising I'm going to start to do. I just haven't done it. Is it easy using the app?
Yeah, it's easy and it's fun. It's just like an AOL chat. Right. It's not video. It's like type and.
All right, I'll do that.
I'll be
doing that. So I have Dr.Drew.locals.com. We're all being dragged over to Locals because we are sick of the cesspool of social media. All right, so join us there. And can we look for you? We look for you during the day on Fox News?
Yeah, I don't know when, though. I was supposed to be on Newsroom today. Everything's changing all the time on the news. So randomly throughout the week, you will see during the day.
You're into the home stretch with the election, so it's going to be very interesting, I think. And I am comfortable. I'm weirdly comfortable whatever happens. I'm much more upset by the propositions in California, which are essentially further turns of the screw to tighten down their tyranny in that state. It's weird how that's what's happening there, but that's what's happening there. So I don't know. Where Andrew's. Okay. Andrew's back to what I said about the Eli Lilly. It was not the vaccine trial. It was a late stage trial for monoclonal antibody. The early stage trial continued. So, in other words, using monoclonal antibodies like Regeneron, which I think is the Lilly product, late in the illness, like during cytokine storm, no good. They're still using it early. That study's going on, which is what they gave to Trump, that he felt resolved the thing so quickly, which makes sense, which the antibody should work during the viral replication phase, but not during the cytokine inflammatory phase. What's that?
You have to go. I have a show.
Okay, we got to wrap this thing up. Kat, thank you as always. We appreciate you being here.
Calling out.
And we've got Susan coming with her calling out show very shortly, so stay tuned for that. Anything we missed, Kat?
Covered it all.
Bye, Carl.
I love your dog.
Bye, guys.
All right.
See ya.
And, all right, see you. Bye-bye. And we will see you all. We will be in here tomorrow, right around this time, yes? Approximately, correct? Around this time?
What's that?
Around this time tomorrow?
Yeah, same
Okay.
time tomorrow.
Same time tomorrow.
4
And
p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Oh.
Ask Dr. Drew with Tyrus and Kelly Victor.
so later tomorrow. Okay, good. We'll do it later tomorrow. And off.
Well, 7 p.m. our time.
Yeah,
Usually
which is-
it's at 3, but we had to move it to 4.
Okay. So off
And then
Thursday.
tonight, calling out with Susan Pinsky.
Off Thursday, Friday. We'll see you on Saturday. Off Sunday, Monday, I think is right. So we're going to be sort of busy and moving and doing stuff, and we apologize. I will try to be more diligent on locals. I got to get a habit with that. We thank you for being here, and we will see you tomorrow.